Oh my god, you guys, I just had the scariest talk with my mom. Oh, I'm sure I've had scarier talks, but this one was really struck a nerve with me, or I don't know, something maybe. I need to say something, make an announcement that I'm ready for the world to hear. It's, that, uh, I think my mom, most of her problems are, I guess, goes for a lot of women, like, oh no, they get these, like, I don't know, my mom seems really irritated and, like, tense all the time. Like, she, she gets really angry just about, like, everything. And I think it's mostly because she doesn't meditate. It's like, people who don't meditate are, like, ignorant. Or, I don't know, it's just, I feel like once you're a meditator like me and, like, everything you do is meditation, then, like, listen to people who don't meditate. It's not worth it. I mean, yeah, people who don't meditate aren't they aren't worth listening to. Or, I mean, I'm generalizing. If they're like experienced in a field that you have no experience in, then yeah, I guess they are worth listening to. But I think for people who don't, like, actually haven't experienced something, like if you're talking about a person, if you're trying to make an opinion about an author, like that Alistair Crowley guy, like, Crowley. Is it Crowley or Crowley? I think it's Crowley. Um, so if you're trying to form an opinion, like, if you haven't actually read up one of the books they've written, if you haven't have first-hand experience, then you can't really form an opinion. Or, like, yeah, you can't just read what other people have written about what they've written. Or, so back to meditation, it's like, I mean, there's so many different forms of meditation. Meditation's basically just doing something without thinking. Or, like, they say origami's meditation because, I mean, like, once you got down to a formula, like, you're basically doing it like an animal, like without thinking, like you're programmed to. And also, there is just, I think one of the best meditations is just sit down and don't hear anything. I mean, the darker the better. So, dark, quiet, um, and also, like, I have a drum right here, and I mean, there also are things called drum circles where just start drumming out whatever beat you want. I mean, it doesn't have to be a real song, or just do whatever rhythm you want. And I think that's meditation. Like, and there are proven benefits of drumming and good vibration. I know those sound waves must get something out of you, or I don't know, have some effect. It's like, or you could do yoga, which is, I think, but if you don't meditate and you do yoga, then you're not really doing yoga. I guess they do all those postures because they're different forms of meditation. Same thing goes for Qigong and probably, like, almost all martial arts. Um, Most all martial arts and so now that I found it again, that book that I was reading in one of my other videos, the Native American Wisdom book, that's really tiny, but it has a really big impact because it's cool. I want to read some more of it because I think it's meditative, I guess, or I don't know, just everyone should hear this stuff. All birds, even those of the same species, are not alike, and it is the same with animals and with human beings. The reason Wankantanka does not make two birds or animals or human beings exactly alike is because each is placed here by Wankantanka to be an independent individuality and to rely upon itself. That's by Shooter, a Teton Sioux. So I mean, they also say that with no two whatever or like you can replace it with even inanimate objects, like I guess no two bananas are alike, no two apples are alike, or like even when things are made in a factory, I think some of them are just there's little variations, just a little different. Should sit more in light, better lighting. I don't know if I read this in my last video about this, but I have seen that in any great undertaking, it is not enough for a man to depend simply upon himself. Lone man. Isna Lawika. That's also Teton Sioux. So I guess, like, especially nowadays, like, we have YouTube and there's so much information out there. Like, if you want to get into, Qigong or meditation or practically anything, there's, like, so many videos, so much information about it. People just trying to, like, help one another. I mean, this is the most peaceful, like, moment in human history. It's not going to get worse from here on out. It's like Marilyn Manson says, times have not gotten more violent, just more televised. So I mean, yeah, thinking back to like the time of Genghis Khan to the Han, all those dictators that have been couped. So yeah, it's gotten way much better. So don't get so scared and think it's terrible. It's just more televised. Here's another one. The traditions of our people are handed down from father to son. The chief is considered to be the most learned and the leader of the tribe. The doctor, however, is thought to have more inspiration. He is supposed to be in communication with spirits. He cures the sick by laying on of hands, in prayers and incantations and heavenly songs. He infuses new life into the patient and performs most wonderful feats of skill in his practice. He clothes himself in the skins of young, innocent animals such as the fawn, and decorates himself with the plumage of harmless birds such as the dove and hummingbird. Sarabwinamuka, Paiute. So I guess that's part of it saying, I guess the costume or the way things look, I mean, it does have a effect. That's why he dresses up in the skins of young, innocent animals and harmless birds, plumage of harmless birds. So, I guess when you want to give a baby a shot, you distract it with some toy or whatever. The other thing I want to say about meditation, I mean, like, me and my family we're about to go to Majorca this coming up soon, or we're gonna leave for I think about 2 weeks, and so we're gonna be in Majorca. And last time we were in Spain once before. There was the siesta. You might have heard about the siesta. Like every day, the Spaniards have this like at lunchtime around then, they like close all the stores, or everyone just. I don't think they're eating lunch. They're having a siesta. They might be eating lunch, but I think they mostly meditate. Like, I think that's kind of common in a lot of Eastern countries. Like, like when I've been doing Duolingo for Russian, and like a lot of times they talk about taking a rest, like for lunch, or taking a rest because they know the human brain isn't really supposed to go maybe a full 8 hours of work, or I don't know, like they have breaks in between classes, or you're not gonna remember it when you just don't meditate in between class or anything. So I mean, during lunch they do just the siesta. They take rest, and I've asked the rest of my family, why do you think they do the siesta? Of course, I'm trying to make them realize, oh, it's because they know meditation's good for you, and they're actually more productive because they give their brains a moment to reset. They say, it's just tradition, or I know, I think most people think it's just like Spaniards are lazy or something. They'd say like that, but no, it's like that's just how the human is supposed to work. Like how most people function today is pretty different from how humans were designed. So like, I don't know, your body's like a car, drive it like it's supposed to, how it was designed to work. Don't try to multitask, or because I mean your brain can't multitask. It's like that's not a human ability. You can switch back and forth really quick, but no one can multitask. Truly multitask. That's why, like, when my dad goes out to do yard work, I feel bad when then he turns on a podcast to listen to while he works, and then like it was a meditation when he was just doing the yard work, the stuff that he does on a routine basis, but then when you turn on a podcast, it's not a meditation. Like all exercise, like being on a treadmill or going for a run or whatever, that's all meditation. Or bike riding, that's meditation. But when you start to listen to music while you're doing it, that's not meditation. Yeah, so when we go to Majorca, well, I assume they also do the siesta there in just that island that's close to Spain. I mean, if any of you know, please tell me if I'm assuming they do the siesta there also, but not sure. So meditation, yeah, like every day you can just. I mean, why do qigong? That's like meditation. There are different forms of meditation. It's like just not multitasking. Or just get a morning routine. Do anything like. I'll put a link in the description to my morning routines, so you guys can see what I do, or get some ideas. Here's another one. When a child, my mother taught me the legends of our people, taught me of the sun and sky, the moon and stars, the clouds and storms. She also taught me to kneel and pray to Yusin for strength, health, wisdom, and protection. We never prayed against any person, but if we had aught against any individual, we ourselves took vengeance. We were taught that Yusin does not care for the petty quarrels of men. That's by Geronimo. What else? We are black, yet we cut ourselves. The blood will be red, and so with the whites it is the same. Though their skin be white, I am of another nation. When I speak, you do not understand me. When you speak, I do not understand you. For an important marriage, the chief presided, aided by his wife. He passed a pipe around the room, so each could share a smoke in common. In this way, families were publicly united to banish any past or future disagreements and thus stood as one united. The chief then gave the couple an oration of his advice, pointing out the good characteristics of each, and then offered his congratulations to them for a happy future. That's by Morning Dove. Morning Dove. Salish. I guess that's the type of Indian. Native American. When a man does a piece of work which is admired by all, we say that it is wonderful. But when we see the changes of day and night, the sun, the moon, and the stars in the sky, and the changing seasons upon the earth, with their ripening fruits, anyone must realize that it is the work of someone more powerful than man. Chased by bears. Asante Yangtone Sioux. Didn't realize there were so many different types of Sioux. Oh, this is a good one. I am going to venture that the man who sat on the ground in his teepee, meditating on life and its meaning, accepting the kinship of all creatures, and acknowledging unity with the universe of things, was infusing into his being the true essence of civilization. Luther Stangbear, Oglala Sioux Chief. That is a pretty cool book. This one's kind of, I don't get it. The old Indian teaching was that it is wrong to tear loose from its place on the earth anything that may be growing there. It may be cut off, but it should not be uprooted. The trees and the grass have spirits. Whatever one of such grows may be destroyed by some good Indian. His act is done in sadness and with a prayer for forgiveness because of his necessities. Wooden Leg, Cheyenne. You know, I always feel weird calling them Indian because, I mean, Native American, they're not from India. Like this Indian lady, she sees me doing the yoga and all the types of stuff that they did in India, but she says, he must have grown up Indian, or like he should have been Indian, but I think, no, that's the wrong Indian. Like Native American. I'd rather be like them. I mean, India is too overpopulated. The earth is the mother of all people, and all people should have equal rights upon it. You might as well expect the rivers to run backward as that any man who was born a free man should be contented when penned up and denied liberty to go where he pleases. Chief Joseph, Nez Perce Chief. Let's see what else is in here. The next part is, the voice of the Great Spirit is heard in the twittering of birds, the rippling of mighty waters, and the sweet breathing of flowers. If this is paganism, then at present, at least, I am a pagan. It's by Gertrude Simmons Bonin. Dakota Sioux. That's why I love when it rains really hard, because then you can listen to the rain, or, you know, I like to be under a pavilion when it rains, because then, like, you got the sound of rain right there. The earth and myself are of one mind. The measure of the land and the measure of our bodies are the same. That's also by Chief Joseph. I was born upon the prairie, where the wind blew free, and there was nothing to break the light of the sun. I was born where there were no enclosures, and where everything drew a free breath. I know every stream and every wood would beat in the Rio Grande and the Arkansas. I have hunted and lived over that country. I lived like my fathers before me, and like them I lived happily. 10 bears. Yamparathka Comanche chief. You know, a lot of the Native Americans I've read, like, at least some of their medicine men, like, they don't believe in the Bering Strait theory. Like, they say, I don't know, like, they were always there. You say the same thing in Australia. The Australian natives say they've always been in Australia. And there are other theories like Mu, Lemuria. I don't know. Tell me what you guys think. Like, did they cross Bering Strait, or like how did those people get here, the Native Americans? Often in the stillness of the night, when all nature seems asleep about me, there comes a gentle rapping at the door of my heart. I open it, and a voice inquires, Pokagon, what of your people? What will their future be? My answer is, mortal man has not the power to draw aside the veil of unborn time to tell the future of his race. That gift belongs of the divine alone, but it is given to him to closely judge the future by the present and the past. Simon Pokagon Potawatomi. It was supposed that lost spirits were roving about everywhere in the invisible air, waiting for children to find them if they searched long and patiently enough. The spirit sang its spiritual song for the child to memorize and use when calling upon the spirit guardian as an adult. Morning dove. I mean, I know what I read that one last time, but I mean, it's a good quote. I guess this one's go down. When I shot any kind of bird, when I killed, I saw that its life went out with its blood. This taught me for what purpose I am here. I came into this world to die. My body is only to hold a spirit life. Should my blood be sprinkled, I wouldn't know wounds from behind. Death should come fronting me. That's by Juhul Soti Nez Pierce Chief. I don't know. It's hard to pronounce, sorry. I wish I knew these foreign Native American words, but I don't. It is the general belief of the Indians that after a man dies, his spirit is somewhere on the earth or in the sky. We do not know exactly where, but we are sure that his spirit still lives. So it is with Wakantanka. We believe that he is everywhere, yet he is to us as spirits of our friends, whose voices we cannot hear. Chased by bears. I mean, but when they mostly like call themselves Indians, it makes me wonder, like, okay, is it like okay to call them Indian even though they aren't? We know they're Native American, but I mean, has that mood changed, or do they still call themselves Indian, or comment about that? The life of an Indian is like the wings of air. That is why you notice the hawk knows how to get his prey. The Indian is like that. The hawk swoops down on his prey, so does the Indian. In his lament, he is like an animal. For instance, the coyote is sly, so is the Indian. The eagle is the same. That is why the Indian is always feathered up. He is a relative to the wings of the air. Black elk, a lawless holy man. Oh, that is a pretty awesome book. And it has some great pictures. You see, this is one of teepees. Or you know what's even better? I guess not better. It's like, well, like there are igloos and what's that one that's like in the woodlands of Canada? They made them wigwams that are like bunch of sticks tied together, and then they use the bark from the trees as like paneling. That's pretty cool. Wish I want to make one. I'll read this one. In the beginning of all things, wisdom and knowledge were with the animals. For Tirawa, the one above, did not speak directly to man. He sent certain animals to tell men that he showed himself through the beasts, and that from them and from the stars and the sun and the moon should man learn. All things tell of Tirawa, eagle chief. Everything on the earth has a purpose, every disease and herb to cure it, and every person a mission. This is the Indian theory of existence. Morning dove. It's pretty depressing how like there are no more of them. Like I talk about all these I guess medicine techniques, Native American medicine techniques to people, and they say, but don't you notice how there are none of them left? Or there are some of them, just not many of them. There are a very small minority of the population, and it's like there are almost none of them because like when the Europeans came, like disease, 90% of the Native Americans killed were killed by disease. It's like, because I'm pretty sure when Europeans came, they were outnumbered by, heavily outnumbered by natives, but then the natives weren't immune to the same diseases, so they end up contracting all sorts of diseases, and yeah, now there aren't many of them. That's why, like, I went to a sweat lodge a couple of weeks ago, and when I mentioned Native Americans, like, the guy said, like, we're not Native American, the people doing it, the other people doing it, but we have a Native American teacher, because, so I guess the reason there's so much recreation of these, Native American things without actual Native Americans is because there aren't enough of them to, like, handle it all. See what else is in this book. Oh, this is a really good one. It was the last line, and I read a book, Mad Bear, also about this Native American stuff. Mad Bear was a Tuscarora, Tuscarora Iroquois medicine man. So he ended up with this quote by Chief Joseph. When I am too old and feeble to follow my sheep or cultivate my corn, I plan to sit in the house, carve Katsina dolls, tell my nephews and nieces the story of my life. Then I want to be buried in the Hopi way. Perhaps my boy will dress me in the costume of a special officer. Place a few beads around my neck. Put a paho and some sacred cornmeal in my hand, and fasten inland turquoise to my ears. Okay. If he wishes to put me in a coffin, he may do even that, but he must leave the lid unlocked. Place food nearby, and set up a grave ladder so that I can climb out. I shall listen to my dear ones, but I will return with good rains and dance as a katsina in the plaza with my ancestors. Don Talayezva, Hopi Sun Clan Chief. Okay, oh, this one is by Chief Seattle. It's not the whole quote. It's, there is no death, only a change of worlds. Chief Seattle, that's what it says in here, but I think the whole quote is, on the city streets at night and in the villages when you think all is quiet and deserted, the dead will rise up and take what's theirs, because the dead are not powerless. Did I say death? There is no death, only a changing of worlds. So, I guess they figured out all that stuff by all the meditating they do. So, I mean, start meditating, guys. It's awesome. I'll include links in the description. Bye.